A queen's torment, a haunting legacy. What if the most tragic queen in English history still roams the halls of her childhood home, searching for redemption? Tonight, we uncover the chilling story of Anne Boleyn's restless spirit and a centuries-old secret waiting to be revealed. A stormy arrival. The skies above Kent were a swirling mass of dark clouds, heavy with the promise of rain. Hever Castle stood tall against the horizon, its ivy-covered walls hiding centuries of secrets. Though its grandeur had faded, it remained a site of fascination, particularly for those drawn to the tragic tale of Anne Boleyn. Meeting the mysterious guide. Eliza Morgan was one of them. A historian with a passion for uncovering lost stories, she had studied Anne's life for years. The ill-fated queen, beheaded by her husband, Henry VIII, was said to haunt not only the Tower of London, but also her childhood home. Skeptical of ghost stories, yet intrigued, Eliza had arranged a private evening tour of the castle, hoping to experience its atmosphere without the interference of daytime crowds. As she approached the castle gates, an elderly guide greeted her with a lantern in hand. His sharp eyes seemed to peer straight into her soul. "Welcome, Ms. Morgan," he said in a voice thick with the accent of the English countryside. "I hear you're looking for Anne. But be warned, some stories are best left untold." Eliza chuckled nervously. "I'm just here to learn more about her life," she replied. "Her life," the guide mused, his gaze drifting toward the castle. "It's not just her life you'll find here. The walls of Hever remember her grief, her hope, and her pain. She doesn't rest easy." The guide handed her the lantern and gestured for her to enter. The castle loomed above her, its shadow stretching like a dark hand across the cobblestone courtyard. Eliza hesitated for a moment before stepping inside. Echoes of the past. The interior of Hever Castle was eerily silent, the kind of silence that presses against your ears and makes your heart race. The lantern's light cast flickering shadows on the walls, bringing the tapestries to life in unsettling ways. Eliza wandered through the great hall, her footsteps echoing on the stone floor. She passed portraits of long-dead nobility, their painted eyes following her every move. When she reached Anne's childhood bedroom, she felt a sudden chill. The air here was heavier, and a faint scent of lavender lingered, a scent often associated with Anne, according to local legends. The room was modest compared to the rest of the castle. A four-poster bed dominated the space, its once luxurious curtains now tattered with age. A small writing desk stood near the window, where a pale beam of moonlight streamed through. Eliza couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. The first encounter. As she inspected the room, the lantern flickered. Then she heard it, a soft, melodic humming. It was faint at first, like the whisper of wind through leaves, but it grew louder, filling the room with an unearthly resonance. Eliza spun around, her heart pounding. There, by the window, stood a figure bathed in moonlight. She was translucent, her form shimmering like mist. The figure was dressed in a silver gown that seemed to ripple as though caught in an invisible breeze. But the most striking and horrifying detail was her head. It floated just above her shoulders, tethered by faint strands of spectral light. Eliza's breath caught in her throat. "Anne," she whispered. The ghost turned to face her, sorrow etched into her ethereal features. Her dark eyes, filled with centuries of anguish, locked onto Eliza's. Slowly, she raised a hand and pointed to a corner of the room, her lips moving silently. unveiling the locket. Eliza followed the ghost's gesture, her legs trembling with every step. In the corner, she noticed a loose stone in the wall. Her hands shook as she pried it open, revealing a small, ornate locket nestled within the hollow. The locket was intricately designed, with a tiny inscription in Latin, Memini, remember. The moment Eliza touched the locket, the room erupted with a deafening rush of wind. The lantern extinguished, plunging her into darkness. The ghost's voice filled the air, soft yet commanding. My locket, it holds my final prayer. Take it to my tomb in the chapel. Only then can I find peace. A descent into darkness. Eliza clutched the locket tightly, her pulse racing. The ghost's presence seemed to grow stronger, surrounding her like an icy fog. Summoning her courage, Eliza made her way out of the room and down the grand staircase. The castle seemed alive, groaning and creaking as if protesting her every move. Shadows danced on the walls, forming fleeting images of Anne's life, her coronation, her trial, her execution. The haunted chapel. When she reached the chapel, Eliza hesitated at the heavy wooden doors. The air was thick, almost suffocating. Gathering her resolve, she pushed the doors open and stepped inside. The chapel was small but ornate, its stained glass windows casting fragmented colors across the stone floor. At the center stood Anne's tomb, a simple yet dignified monument to the queen who had lost everything. Eliza approached the tomb, her footsteps echoing in the stillness. She placed the locket on the cold marble, and as she did, the room filled with a blinding light. Anne's ghost appeared once more, but this time she was whole, her head firmly on her shoulders, her expression one of serene relief. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice like a gentle breeze. "You have freed me." The ghost began to dissolve into a cascade of glowing particles which floated upward and vanished into the vaulted ceiling. The oppressive air lifted, replaced by a sense of profound peace. The keeper of the legend. As Eliza exited the chapel, the storm clouds had cleared, revealing a sky full of stars. The guide was waiting for her at the gate, his lantern casting a warm glow. "You saw her, didn't you?" he asked, his knowing smile returning. Eliza nodded, too overwhelmed to speak. "She appears to those who can help her," he said. "Now her story lives through you." From that night on, Eliza felt a connection to Anne Boleyn, as though she had become a guardian of her memory. But every so often, on quiet nights, she swore she could hear the faint strains of a sorrowful melody carried on the wind, a reminder that Anne Boleyn's legend would never truly fade. The song that never fades. Anne Boleyn's story might be centuries old, but her ghostly melody reminds us that some legends never rest. Next time you hear the wind whisper through the trees, listen carefully. You might hear her song, calling from the shadows of time. If this story sent chills down your spine, imagine the mysteries yet to be uncovered. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Spectral Tales, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a haunting legend. Let me know in the comments, do you believe Anne Boleyn's ghost still roams the halls of Hever Castle? Or is it just a story meant to keep history alive? Your thoughts might inspire our next tale.